Hey, welcome back to Homeschool Wherever. My name is Sognonvi, and in today's video, I'm going to explain what the Charlotte Mason method is. This video is part of a series called Homeschooling Explained. When I first started looking into homeschooling, I was really confused by all the terms that were thrown around, like deschooling, unschooling, Charlotte Mason, morning baskets. I'm sure I'm not the only one who felt this way, so I'm really hoping that this series will help demystify some of the terminology that's commonly used in the homeschooling community. If you're new to this channel, we are a multiracial secular family living in New York City, and we're homeschooling for the first time this year. We have two daughters, Sean, who's in 6th grade, and Ella, who's in 3rd grade. We're really passionate about using travel to bring our homeschooling lessons to life, and this channel is all about documenting our homeschooling journey. So if that sounds of interest to you, I hope that you will subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. We're also full-time family travel creators, so if you want to see that side of our lives, check out our travel channel at Top Flight Family. So who was Charlotte Mason? Charlotte Mason was an English educator and reformer in England at the turn of the 20th century. She had a lot of ideas around educating kids that really ran counter to the common practices of that time. One of Charlotte Mason's famous quotes is, "Education is an atmosphere, a discipline, a life." And by atmosphere, she meant what are kids learning and absorbing from their home environment? By discipline, she believed in instilling good habits in kids early on in life. And by life, Charlotte Mason meant that she felt kids should be receiving thoughts and ideas and not just dry facts. So what are some of the hallmarks of families that homeschool using the Charlotte Mason method? Well, one is short lessons. Charlotte Mason believed in making sure that kids could focus for the entire amount of the lesson. However, she wanted to make sure that that amount of time was suitable to their developmental ability. So for early elementary age kids, that might mean that lessons are only 5 to 15 minutes long. And then in older grades, those lesson times might reach to 45 minutes. Another hallmark of the Charlotte Mason method is living books. Twaddle is a word that you're going to hear a lot among Charlotte Mason homeschoolers. And that really refers to books that are really dumbed down and that talk down to kids. So Charlotte Mason was very against using twaddle or dry textbooks with kids. And she really advocated for what she called living books, which would often be books written with a narrative or books written by authors who were super passionate about their topic. And she called these living books because it would allow a subject to come to life for the child. Narration is another big keystone of the Charlotte Mason method. And the idea of that is to have kids narrate back to you what you have just read to them to make sure that they're absorbing it and comprehending it. So for younger kids, narrations would usually be done orally. In other words, they would be talking it out. And then for older kids, like 12 and older, narrations could also be done in a written form. And Charlotte Mason believed this was important because it kind of encourages kids to use rich language to describe ideas and encourages them to make the mental connections and to really elaborate on what those connections are that they have formed based on the material. Copywork and dictation are two things that a lot of Charlotte Mason homeschooling families will rely on a lot. So having kids copy out passages is a way for them to practice spelling and grammar and punctuation. And then once they've studied those passages well through copywork, it's also great practice to have parents dictate that passage to them and have kids actually write that down. So the language arts curriculum that we're using, one section is DART, which is from the Brave Writer curriculum by Julie Bogart, actually relies a lot on copywork and dictation. So I can see that her curriculum is definitely influenced by the Charlotte Mason method. And by the way, I actually have a whole video about the curriculum that we're using in our secular homeschool, so I'm going to link that down below if you want to check that out. Now back to the Charlotte Mason method. Another important part of the method is nature. So Charlotte Mason really believed that kids should spend as much time outdoors as possible. She encouraged a lot of outdoor time, a lot of long nature walks. She encouraged kids to also bring nature journals so they could sketch or write about the things that they saw when they were out in nature. And art and music appreciation is also really big with the Charlotte Mason homeschool method. So one of the techniques that she likes to use is to have kids study a painting for a long period of time. So maybe look at it quietly for a good 5 minutes or so. Then you take the painting away and have the child narrate back to you everything that they saw, describe what they see in the painting, how it made them feel, any kind of details that they can recall. And the idea of incorporating art and music into schooling really comes back to the life aspect of the Charlotte Mason method, where she really wants well-rounded kids that are not just reading dry textbooks, but also appreciating the things around them like nature and art and music. Another key piece of the Charlotte Mason method is free afternoons. She really believed in dedicating the mornings to lessons and then leaving the afternoons open so that kids would have plenty of time to play, to be active, to go on their nature walks. So I think a lot of kids would definitely be down with that aspect of Charlotte Mason. Okay, if you want to learn what unschooling is, check out that video where I explain exactly what it means. If you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Homeschool Wherever. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.